attack. I'm pretty sure Henningsen is not going to play the Pharah unless he does a Cameron and suddenly switches over to DPS. Morningstars, on the other hand, this is how I predicted it. You kind of have to play this free composition, but they will have Slur because he can play in the back of the cafe and provide a lot of support to his team without having to move around too much. The only thing is that Chow goes over to this D.Va and he's able to deny Slur, then they can do a lot of work that way.
He's having a good time on the Hanzo, just getting the scouting arrow out to begin with. Now we'll go over to his signature hero in Contenders, which has definitely been the D.Va. Going to press forward. Terrace completely under control of Morningstars. We see a lot of teams go through security, bait the team on the terrace to drop down onto their playing field and then try and take a fight after.
I think Askov's going to boot them down. That's why they're waiting for him to go over the high ground. So he's going to drop down from the side and try and bop them off. Yeah. Looks like he's come back down again, though.
Yeah, Dredro was good looking to try and find that one and potentially go and push them out because they want to play like the hokey-cokey on that door frame and you want a Lucio in there to force their hand. You can see Dredro going up above it. But they're already off that high ground now, so mission accomplished, and it allows Askov to go up there instead with the help of Chow, and the rest of the team is taking the staircase up and going to play off the high ground and allow Zapre to get greater damage off.
Your high ground? My high ground. Morningstar's now on the point, but it will be Henningsen who drops down first. Bubble early onto Chubb, so he is now vulnerable.
Yeah, drops into the bubble and generating that extra energy over to Zapre, which really plays against Chubbs. He takes a lot of damage. Will get booted back by Dredro to alleviate some of that pressure as they play around the cover and get him healed up. There's multiple angles coming in for HSL Esports. So you've got D.Va on the high ground who's going to contest it. Won't be finding the defense matrix on the sleep darts. Now he's taking a nap on the back line. Graviton Surge, Product Grenade to deny the healing. In fact, amp it up as Chubbs gets the nano boost as well. The charge, not going to be finding a kill, but Tech 36 has swept through and got rid of him. Puts the shield up, counter shatter to deny Henningsen any further aggression as they play around the side. The sound barrier even being committed by Dredro. It's enough to make sure Morningstars deflect that first attack.
I think that the nano boost into the shatter was enough though for Morningstars, and now they lack pretty much anything to deny this Graviton. Unless Tech 36 can place down a very good defensive self-destruct to deny any aggression coming out from HSL, really, Morningstars are in a very tricky position because Henningsen can just go for the charge onto Chubbs, and with basically a Zarya bubble, he'll be immune to that bomb in the sky either way.
No one's taking the bait as easy this time, so he will hold on to the high ground just a fraction longer. Tech 36 goes up to join the rest of his team. He can skid this bomb into the back line and really cause some chaos right now. Instead, Chow actually came with a big boy flank on that one. But the Graviton Surge was there to find Dredro and Chubb, so they have that two-man advantage, and they're going to translate over to the points.
I really feel bad for Tech 36 there. He actually went for a mad flick with the D.Va Matrix, but I think it just ran out like at the last moment before Zapre did go for that Graviton. But HSL Esports win that fight out very handily, just using the Graviton. Now they have a lot of ultimates of their own coming to this next one. They're going to have the beat, they have the Transcendence very shortly, so if they use the Transcendence to deny the Graviton, then they could potentially use the beat defensively or offensively, even if Chubbs does hit one of these big neck shatters.
That spawn distance, just a little bit too much for Morningstars to go over the contest there. They wouldn't be going at full force, and they want to try and play around this choke instead. It's the lesser of two evils in honest reviews. They throw in that Graviton Surge. Chubbs pivot around, can't quite find the charge he's looking for, and they have to play back. There's no shield. He's going to die. They even throw in the self-destruct for this one as HSL Esports keep finding the frags. Tech 36 finding out Askov, but the scales are still imbalanced, and Morningstars are going to have to try and take another fight further down point B.
This seems to be a recurring trend for Morningstars, though. It's just an overinvestment of ultimates. Like, I don't think they needed that D.Va bomb. I think they could have waited with that one, but it looks like Tech 36 was trying to switch either way. Does go over to the Sombra now. HSL, once again, they have the pretty good comp to deal with it, but a lot of ultimates right now. They're going to have the Rally and the Earth Shatter. This is a massively aggressive opening for Morningstar.
You can also get maximum value here because Tech 36 just needs to find a hack on Henningsen and you can shatter the entire team. So that's going to be a great combo for them to use with zero wind-up time for Tech 36. The only thing that's stopping him right now is the location.
And Tech 36 on Hollywood is feeling really good. There is so much high ground for them to play around with.
Kagasi's going to go down. They commit the nano boost into a fight on top of that Graviton Surge. They were not prepared to deal with that. Morningstars made them fight not on their own terms, and they're able to walk away with this one as HSL Esports just leisurely walks it into point B.
It's going very well for HSL so far. Kagasi taking the full brunt of 1,000 suns to the face, Asking getting booped all around the place.
They're just not letting them retreat. Their perfect stagger on the split spawns, and that just pushes Morningstar's line in the sand further back.
So far the fights have been really quick as well, Tridd.
Yeah.
So basically, Tech 36 has not been able to get really that much charge towards the EMP.
That is the progress towards his first EMP.
Yeah.
So a little bit slower than what we usually see. But as you said, Blank, that's the reason why. The fight's just been so fast, he's not been able to find the value. And Chow's very conscious of finding him, did spot him out there, just above the Earth Shadow there, so won't be affected by that one. In fact, it was only Chubbs that got knocked back on that one, and now he's punished for it as they're going to be caught out. Henningsen dropping down the Shadow. Like I said, not going to find it. Hacked up just a fraction too late by Tech36, who will go down again. Zapray grabs that Graviton Surge for the next fight, and they've even got the bomb to deal with it, and it's the nasty stagger onto Slur.
Real
They're going to be in
nasty.
this final arena, and they have to try and stop it with not much room to play around with.
Morningstar's trying to go for that combo that you mentioned earlier, was the hack into the Shatter, which they did get off in that situation, that last fight. But HSL Esports, because they've been conserving so many ultimates, they were ready with the defensive ones to basically come back from that.
Zapray couldn't get in range there to try and back up the Graviton he threw out, so everyone's relatively safe from that one. Good deflection still coming in from Kagasi to stop that one. The EMP's there,
Too
but
late.
what can they do with it? They've thrown over the Nano Boost over to Tech36 to keep him up, as the Graviton Surge will be committed, but HSL Esports just sat comfortably on the point. Morningstars, they had all the gear, but no idea.
I'm pretty sure that from HSL on point A, after they took the first one, I am very confident to say I don't think they used a single ultimate wrongly in that situation. I think they used every single one correctly. Like, there didn't seem to be a single waste there. And one thing I really like that I have to point out is Ascoft is basically playing versus Tech36 and Sombra as if you would play Lucio versus a Tracer. Because Lucio has passive healing and it's kind of hard to hit anyway, and his orbs hit a small target like that because they're quite a big hitbox, you can duel out effectively with a Sombra and deny a lot of it all the time because you are just the best person to deal with that Sombra because you heal up as well. So the Sombra's like, I'm not getting the most value out here. I'm not hitting a big chunky target and getting towards that next EMP.
But if you miss your shots and Sombra successfully gets a hack off of you, because I'm guessing the Sombra will kind of like semi-permanently
well,
be
you got 4
going
shots, right? So
you got 4 shots, 4 chances at the time to hit him.
Exactly.
The Sombra is
yeah.
potentially going to like weave in the hover hand and try and get
Yeah,
that hack.
if
If you
you
miss
can,
those
yeah.
shots, you are dead.
You are fairly dunzoed in that situation, which is lucky because Ascoff does play this Lucio fairly well. But it's very interesting, and I think that I've been fairly impressed with Ascoff so far. His beats have been really on point, his boops have been really on point, and because he's doing all these little things and still being on heal, he is passively supporting his team whilst providing a very integral role to stopping that Sombra or stopping those backline threats.
And now it's HSL Esports going to be playing on the defense, on the high ground as expected. Still, Morningstar's running out with a Tech36 on the Sombra, so they're going to try and like sneak him through somehow, but there's very good scanners at the entrance.
There is, yeah. It's a pretty tough airport security to get through this one.
He went
not sure about that
all the
one.
way over the top and at point blank range trying to find a displacement onto HSL Esports, but got knocked back, wasn't able to find anything. The shields were up and in place.
Kagasu's shield was just tall enough to deny any hack onto anyone on the high ground. That's really sad for Tech36, but everyone's so low!
They just pointed at Slur and he died on that backline. They ran straight through the lineup of Morningstars to make that happen. HSL Esports finding free, shuts down the offense of Morningstars, but they have still 3 minutes 10 to play with.
Yeah, they're going to really try and make Chubb suffer there for a little bit longer, but Henningsen can get back very easy. The charge combined with holding down that space at the end, so when you jump, you get that little bit extra distance. He gets back to the point so quickly. HSL Esports, they come into next fight with a nano boost. Slur's nowhere near his, but Fisher quite low on the high ground, needs a little bit of assistance.
Dreidel just skates over the top every time. Henningsen been hacked up. He's so vulnerable to the team as he's pushed away, but the rest of his lineup is going to fold into him. The shadow comes in just a little bit too late to help as many people as possible. But Henningsen gets nano boosted. Going to fire the fire strike through the team, and yet again, Morningstars walking back to the spawn room. This time, they will come back with that EMP.
Chubb he basically pulled on the jackpot machine. He saw 7-7, and then it was something else because Henningsen, the hack just dropped off. He was able to, the base of the shield just appeared out of nowhere. He's able to block that shadow. Like you said, there's some good ultimates here for Morningstars.
They're going to play from the side. He can just throw a translocator up there and go and catch them, but it's not going to bother with that for now. They're going to wait for the HSL Esports to come to them, and they jump into the EMP range. Even the Bionade hitting Asking the Slur was pretty big,
Doesn't
but
hit
it's now
that break.
expired. And they're going to sit on the Graviton Surge with the rally. They throw in a counter grab to lock up HSL Esports. Henningsen with the shatter. It finds 4. It finds 6, actually. They're all locked up. Morningstars. That was the play, Chief. He turns back and said, this is not it.
It's like, basically, Henningsen got slept by Slur, so that Slur coming into his own there with those sleeps that I was talking about earlier. But as soon as he woke up, he was like, I have a duty to do, and drops down the hammer. All 6 of them locked up, and our Morningstars, once again, they've invested all these ultimates, didn't find any value of it. 1 minute 30 on the clock, not a lot of time remaining, but a lot of ultimates on HSL.
Self-destruct. There's that sound barrier from Morningstars. HSL Esports can answer, but I don't think they need to just yet. Henningsen's healing being denied, but the nano booster will keep him topped up, and they push him into the corner. Ascot found one, Henningsen on the second. Dredro caught, hammer to the back of the head. He's gone! They woke him up! The charge would have killed him. The outcome's still the same, though. Another one fight for HSL. Zapre will be taking a long walk back to the spawn room, milking out as much ult charge as he can, because we're entering final fight territory. Chubbs has the Shatter. Tech36 is about to get an EMP, but they do have the nano boost from Slur.
Smart from asking there. He knows he needs to get towards that Graviton as soon as possible, but look at all the ultimates on HSL side. It's all green, ticks ready to go. This sheet is almost finished out.
What, finishing the form? Just, yep, got that.
Literally.
Okay, yep. Yep.
Ding's the only one who's lacking.
Dredro forces them off the high ground, but I think they wanted to jump off anyway. 99%. Tech36 has the EMP. He has to nail this one and get Morningstars back in the game. If they fail this engagement, it's going to be all over. Henningsen's still up. Hacks out of the Shatter. He jumped and went for it. Perfect timing. They have to win this fight. Morningstars have been obliterated. Asking, going down at the 99% is the true heartbreaker there. HSL Esports gonna walk away with Hollywood.
Mobile Heroes on Morningstars, they're not getting back though, Tridd, and even if they do, they're going to be facing the full force of Zapre over here.
The Graviton Surge came out. Overtime was triggered by that pesky Dredro, but there was no follow-up. And that is going to be HSL Esports taking to series point with a 2-1 scoreline.
So far, HSL have been playing magnificently. I think Hollywood was probably one of the most marvelous Hollywoods I've seen in a very, very long time from a team. I think HSL had that one on point, and Morningstars are really flailing for what they wanted to do there. I think that they've got to shore up this ult economy at the moment because they are investing a little bit too heavily here, Tridd. And I think that when we do see that happen, is that Tech36 can't get value out as EMP because so far he is getting some pretty decent EMPs. You saw one there where he got the EMP cancelled out the Shatter in that situation, but no follow-up.
But also the problem with that was, you cancelled out the Henningsen the Shatter, but you didn't cancel out the grab. And that was ultimately the thing that
all the sound
really
barrier
played out of your hands for you. So, series point in favor of HSL Esports. They are one map away from making this a 3-1. The only way to find out that is the case is by joining us after the break. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with us. We're moving on to map number 4 very shortly. It's a 2-1 scoreline in favor of HSL Esports, who had one of the most dominant Hollywoods I think I've seen in Overwatch Contenders Europe.
Pretty much, there wasn't really any contestation. I think that we've seen more dominant Hollywoods in trials, but here in Contenders, you don't necessarily see one where there's not really any contest as they push it through. And then a defense like that, where it felt like Morning Stars were playing up to their level, but it just seemed that HSL were just on a completely different one.
They just had an answer to everything. If they were sitting in an exam in my classroom, I'd be calling out, you cheated. I don't know how, but you did.
Yo, show me your palm. I want to see those answers.
They show me the you get one side of A4, but it's written like under like a massive microscope.
Size 1.
Size 1 font printed onto that one sheet. They're going to get maximum value out of it. Well, Rialto, it's our final location. It's the final exam for Morning Stars, potentially. If they fail this one, then they don't get to sit
They don't get the reset.
They don't get the reset that comes with the map number 5 and hopefully looking to win out here. But the Rialto's our next destination. And I think we might see a lot of this bunker and sniper play coming, which is going to play into the hands of Morning Stars because they're relying so heavily on asking this series.
Yeah, this is why this map pool this week is kind of interesting, especially for this matchup after we've seen what happened on Paris and what we saw on Busan. It's going to be flipping backwards and forwards here. Rialto, yeah, like you said, very much a place where you can play as Orisa bunker composition, and there are so many places for Widowmaker to play in high sightlines, high ground with long sightlines. The other good thing about Rialto is that even though it's quite a bright map, and this is a bit of a niche thing, a lot of the areas where Widows plays are quite shadowed. It's difficult to see them a lot of times. So as long as they're not firing out those tracer rounds early, you can get picked off very easily by a flanking asking.
You think if Widowmaker has all those lenses in her goggles, you think one of them would be night vision, right?
Yeah, you really would, but...
Or maybe an infrared. It depends which works better. I'm not a tactical mastermind when it comes to sharpshooting, so I don't know what would be better.
I think the ultimate is just infrasight, so like it's infrared sight. So.
Do you need 9 lenses for that though, Blank? It feels a little bit overkill.
Yeah, well, I think that's Widowmaker to a T though, right?
Overkill. Yeah, I mean, damage boost, amp matrix, that's a lot of overkill, especially on the squishier targets you might be aiming for.
Yeah. For sure. Now, HSL looks like they want to play this 3-3. Morning Stars, maybe they're feeling a little bit rattled after that Hollywood. They're opting to, well, currently they're opting to play this 3-3 versus HSL. Ding still on that Ana, however, though. Feeling like you can get more value out of this one, especially with the high ground early on point A. You can get some nice bite grenades early on here, Tridd.
They're on the defense. They have that luxury. So they are going to be able to stand on the high ground and just give them a gentle volley over the shield. Yeah. Unless you go for the look up, but then you're exposing your knees. You might get swept out there.
Don't expose your knees, lads. That's how you take an arrow to one.
Rule 1 of
never expose the knees.
Of phalanx training in the Roman Empire was you keep that shield on the ground, otherwise you're getting an arrow to the knee. Skyrim reference.
Absolutely. HSL. Now they are staying on the defense. Morning Stars. They do have Kagasi. He was on the Widowmaker a second. I think that's just for scouting purposes, but now goes back over to the Brigitte. The Morning Stars are staying on this 3-3. This is playing into the hands of HSL as we've seen it before.
Askov takes cover behind his buildings. He wants to get a boop off the player on the high ground. He's just going to jump down from below and push him into the team and guarantee that, well, Chubb's going to go down here. RP also, again, going to get nailed here. We want to see him on a Widowmaker and not on a Zarya. As we know, that is the weaker of his hero pool option, as HSL Esports entrench themselves on the payload at this pivotal corner.
How did Ding hit that sleep? Because he was booped around, and it was like, I don't feel like you would aim there for the sleep if he didn't know he was going there.
So, to be honest, for Ding, an orb and a sleep dart are the same thing.
That's true.
So he's just going to have, like, it doesn't matter. Like, head, I see, shoot.
I shoot sleep dart. Henningsen in a tight spot here does get the football early. Great bash coming out from Fisher.
Just locks him out of the shield of Chubbs, and it guarantees he's going to get demected. Zapro will then take him down. It has a chain reaction effect. Like, there's no one to try and soak up that damage on the shield. And it just means it's easy pickings for HSL Esports.
Henningsen so far, wonderful job on this Reinhardt. And I think that, yeah, Zapre's backing up really well with that bubble. But we see a lot of times Morning Stars, they're focusing a lot of their attention on Henningsen. And the way that he's managing his shield and managing his position is preventing a lot of this initial poke. And once the cooldowns are down for Morning Stars, that's when HSL strike with a bash from their own from Fisher.
There's 2 sweeps here to get him off the high ground. Kagasi's being the only one to drop down. It forces the rest of the Morning Stars to go as well.
Another good boot.
There's the shadow from Henningsen. Not going to find anyone out or enough And they're going to get the denied healing, sitting in the Transcendence, but they all retreat round. The only person who's at danger of going down is asking. He plays around the cover. And Henningsen got that nano boost as well as he presses forward. Good retreat from Morningstars to get away from that.
It's good retreat from Morningstars. HSL know when to back out on the fight, though. Bubble comes through. Looking for either side.
Rally, self-destruct to try and stem that flow. As they press forward, they remove the entrenched HSL Esports. They're moving further back.
Chubbs has this shatter, has to make it good though. Here comes a sound barrier, great job from Askoff.
Trading Zarias right now. Zapray going down is asking will be the one to find him. You're right, Chubbs has got that Earth Shatter, but the rest of HSL Esports are hiding behind the shield of Henningsen. 325 HP, he's not got the time. They just go for the other side of the shield. Not going to find him out. Slur picks off Askoff from the back line. Throws down her own shatter. Henningsen not finding it out. Tech 36 going to throw that bomb over the top as Chubbs finds Fisher as well. Morningstars, they've done enough here to force them back because the respawns are coming in, but there's no platform to play around. And Zapray now has to head for the hills and try and avoid this stagger. I don't think it's meant to be.
You're very much okay running away from this fight with that Graviton Surge, but here is where we see the advantage of holding on to the Zenyatta as Morningstars have done. Sure, you can get that big anti-grenade earlier, which we saw deny a lot of Transcendence. Great retreat from Morningstars. HSL not able to capitalize. And then you lose your Zarya on Zapray, you lose a lot of damage, and Slur's able just to pump in all that extra bit, and it doesn't matter that you don't have a Zarya on site.
Very early grab. They're just going to sandwich Morningstars in here, and they get the kills they want, asking the only one to find the salvation. The Morningstars just going to play very conservative with the ults. They knew that was a lost fight, and they're just going for a hard reset here.
Henningsen's just trying to steal all his kills. I think he's the world's most bloodthirsty Reinhardt. Now, he has a shatter. There's a rally on Fisher as well, and that speed boost from the rally is really important because it allows you to run past the shield of Chubbs like a linebacker and basically just get the bash onto him and then shatter afterwards. So that may be the combination that HSL are looking to push through here.
Zapray's at an alternative angle, going for a flank, trying to weave in the volleys. So they're paying attention to where the bulk of the force of HSL Esports is on this high ground. Henningsen, I really want you to jump off the high ground and try and slam this hammer down, but I don't think you're going to go for it. Instead, he's going to walk it nice and slowly with the rest of his team, keeping this payload contested and playing around the ground they've approved for themselves.
Extremely early rally from Fisher though, and now from Kegasi, so now Fisher can unleash his own and have a big advantage here.
Few ults being traded. It's only Chow finding out Kegasi off of that one though, so Morningstars will still have that Earth Shadow to play with. They committed the beat in that Chaos. It wasn't enough to save the Brigitte. Now they're separated from the payload, throws down the Shatter. Only going to get Zapray, who's stunned up. He will die without getting that Graviton Surge online, but it's a good thing Slur had it as a backup. They're not even going to commit that one here. They might go for another fight after this one because they've won it without the use of that pivotal ultimate. Did commit the sound barrier to make it happen though.
Yeah, but you see in the kill feed there, every single kill had an assist from Ding, and that's why you see the importance of getting Ding on the Zenyatta. Now, Zapray sure he went down, but now they have the damage to clean up these fights regardless.
Not just the damage, that Orb of Discord as well. Definitely going to be changing through all those targets to make that happen.
Massively so. The Orb of Discord, 25% extra damage. That's actually huge in the free mirror. Now, Morningstars, they don't have many ultimates, but 1 minute remaining, Tridd. It's pretty much 1 to 2 fights remaining here.
Zapray say, oh, he knew it was going to happen. He walks in and looks right in that direction. He knew that was coming, and Tech36 still being hungry, shuts down the play that HSL Esports wanted, and now they're trying to salvage it, and Henningsen's hammer might be the one to make that happen. Chubbs on life support, but he gets away. He can now use the ultimate of his own. Big Transcendence from Ding. Going to keep him up, but only Henningsen and Zapray going down to that one. The kill will still come through for Morningstars as they get enough to walk this one down. They just need to clear out the stragglers of HSL Esports, and they might be able to get in with a sizable time bank for that final section. So I think they've got away with having some change to spare rather than the overtime.
Just stalling as long as possible. Tech 36, you predicted their Tridd, the Oracle over here in the casting booth. That guy with the Matrix is just insane. He just knows exactly, and it feels like towards the later on in the series, once he kind of gets a feel for the enemy Zarya, that's when he starts to eat more and more of the grabs.
Gets the download on him. He just knows exactly what to do. HSL Esports going to clap back with the Graviton Surge. Chow's got that self-destruct as well. Might be able to skid one back, but Dridro using a very aggressive beat to take the fight to HSL Esports. But there's that grab. Transcendence coming in from Slur. So a slight overlap on the support ultimate. You need to do it in that instance. Chow finding out Kegasi. Henningsen as well. This HSL Esports pushing Morningstars back and trying to get them into that sub 1 minute territory. You did commit a couple of ults for HSL, but they're still going to come back with 4.
Absolutely. It's only 2 users, sound barrier and the grab there, but you force out 3 from Morningstars in that fight. Now HSL Esports, they hold the advantage when it comes to ult economy. And if it's anything as we've seen from before, oh dear, that's a massive pick. That's going to basically prevent a last fight, and they might even punish here as well. Chubbs' shield's so low.
There's no one to protect him and deny someone from getting behind the shield and forcing Chubbs in.
Oh my god.
This is disastrous for Morningstars, and HSL Esports, they're going to be retreating back. I think there is enough time for Morningstars to get back if they're fast. But if HSL Esports force them to fight here, they can just go and clean back anyone who sneaks through the line.
I think we see a lot of teams doing this though, Tridd. This might not be the play. You put yourselves in a difficult position, but here, on Rialto, the stairs is a terror zone. It gives you so much control, but Morningstars, they can walk straight past. Here comes the Shatter.
Oh, and it's already found Slur! The Graviton Search for Masking pulls them together, but they've got the healing to survive. Fisher will go down. You have to send Dredro here to go and get that payload. He has to run over it. It's slightly being contested. Someone is fighting them. The backup's coming in, but you've got divided Morningstars. You can retreat back and peel and get that pesky Lucio. You shut down Dredro here, you're going to win that game.
It's a predictable grab coming out from Zapre as well, but Tech 36 does not get it.
Not this time, unfortunately. Henningsen with the pivot. He's so low, he can't drop the shield to go for the Shatter, and Chubbs is going to find him. It was a catch-22 for them. Morningstars pushing onto the home stretch. They got no more gas in the tank in terms of ultimates, but they can get them fast. HSL Esports is going to come back swinging.
I just think that when you put yourself that far forward, when someone goes to the back line, you split your attention so hard, communication starts to break down. 2 supportive ultimates coming from HSL Esports, so they can make this one last.
No, he's pushed back! He couldn't get
God!
there! Morningstars are going to even deny any contest there. Blank, they shouldn't have got away with that one. HSL with a big misplay. They pressed their advantage too much. They showed their hand, and it was just unfortunate for them.
It really was, and I think that's so many times, we've seen that so many times, Tridd, haven't we? We've seen it so many times where a team will go too far forward, get a little bit confident. I think that's something that HSL have done so great this entire series, is that they haven't been too cocky up until now. And here's where it comes back to bite you. Morningstars, they get a free third tick when necessarily they should have been held just shy of point B.
You know what the attempt was. You know what the theory was. And I feel that's
the worst part.
It's the worst part. It's on a slightly larger scale, it's just like the Torbjorn hold on Paris. You know what they wanted to do. The execution, just lacking a little bit. Yeah, it's A for effort, D for attainment.
Yeah, absolutely. HSL Esports, now, hopefully you come back from this one. You have a talk between yourselves as a team. You think to yourselves, we can't get upset about that. We can't get tilted about that. We just have to go into this with a fresh mindset and try and make this the best run of Rialto we've had so far. We need time.
It may not be Oasis, but they don't have to look back in anger.
Tridd,
I looked at the face, and it just said it all.
I can't believe you've done this.
Morningstars, they're starting to believe they have done this. They're in a good position to try and force out that 5th map. They just have to stop HSL Esports from completing on Rialto.
They do. But Morningstars so far, they've struggled with the offense from HSL Esports more so than the defense. I think we saw that on Hollywood. And I think that HSL Esports creates so much pressure and the bubbles just aren't quite good enough from asking yet that Chubbs is just on life support all the time.
Dredro, don't go for the environmental, mate. Just stay there, that's it. They came to you instead, shut down that opportunity. You're on the high ground. He's getting a lot of damage off with this blaster. And now he's trying to try and keep Chubbs
early
in the
bubble
fight.
Again.
Early bubble, but he did have the sound wave to push back the aggression and try and keep Chubbs up. As long as his shield held there, he was going to be fine. That is until he gets stunned up and forced into the team. The CC game, so strong from HSL Esports. They're just walking through free real estate right now.
Big sleep coming through here, and Chubbs only 88%, but he does get back up in time. Chow currently out of mech, so it is a 5v5 currently.
Henningsen sitting on that Earth Shadow now. Slept, stunned up. Every method of CC being thrown at this man from Morningstars. They're paying him respect, and Chubbs gets his shadow off first because of it. HSL on their backs, taking a nap. Gathered a bit of a concussion as well, truth be told. Is he going to throw around? Henningsen pops out the corner from nowhere and gets his own off. Bionic committing into the fight to shut down the healing, but it's only Ascot that goes down. Zapre throwing the grab straight into Tech 36's mouth again. Lord. Another consumption from this lad. I'm going to be racking up the bill at the end of this meal, and I don't think he's going to be able to pay for it. He's going to have to sell off his house for this one.
You have to do a runner, basically. That's exactly what Morningstars are doing now. They're trying to get away. Tech 36 attempted to keep them in. It just was not enough.
Asking on the bridge. He's now has to jump behind the shield of shields. Chubbs, he will be his shield in this instance and keep him alive and allow Morningstars to stabilize. But while they're doing that, the payload's still moving closer to checkpoint A.
Tech 36 can go for an aggressive bomb here. Ascroft a little bit of a ways away from that sound barrier that they do need to get aggressive in this situation. Not many ults of anything, so Tech 36, he has to get a lot of value out of this bomb, all with asking to get his grab.
Gonna play around the choke. Walking it forward. Henningsen getting locked up, and there's the sound barrier. They're going to press forward. That one straight into the Graviton Surge. But Zapper and Chow fell too. You can commit that one. Tech swings it back with a bomb and gets the D-Mech onto Chow. They're going to re-engage. Hopefully, to get into this fight with Ding's
big.
Transcendence, but Morningstars have wrestled control away from HSL Esports, and they now sit on that payload. They've stolen the keys. They're taking it for a fresh paint job. It's theirs now.
It's a massive bomb coming out from Tech 36. Takes down Fisher, and when you take down Fisher, you lose that bash. You can't close out fights too easily. But even more so, you lose the rally, which is, as we've said before, a budget Transcendence. You need it to force through fights, brute force them.
Thankfully, they're going to have it for this fight, though, because he didn't pop it before he went down. So that's the silver lining of that cloud.
4 ultimates here, but 1 defensive ult coming online is Slurs, and Dreeder's not far behind either. They have to make this one work quickly.
He's going to get it in time for this Graviton Surge when Zapray may have to fire it out. Puts it straight on top of Chubbs, and that Transcendence comes out in time to save them all. Here's the rally coming in, the budget Transcendence to Chow. Skids that into the backline. Henningsen doesn't have to skid that hammer as he drops it from above, but Morningstar's recover. Fire the beats out as well to stay in this one. Ding has the Transcendence. That's their panic button and they need it. But a D-Mech is not enough to force their hand. Slur finding Ascot as well. There's that Graviton Surge from Asking. They're going to throw in the self-destruct as well. Get some more clearance on this one, but it all cowered behind Henningsen's shield.
Out they come again. Henningsen now able to finish off the fight. Zapray took an excellent angle there on the left-hand side, able to apply the bubbles with ease, keep the rest of his members alive there. But Morningstars cut down basically 4 minutes of the clock just on point A. Now they have an opportunity to hold on this really awkward corner on top of the stairs. That's why HSL are trying to gain control of it so quickly.
They got there nice and early, so they will set up before Morningstars can, but they still have to be mindful that they have a lot of ground to play with here, and they're going to force him into this choke, start swinging hammers. Instead, the charge comes through with no counter. Graviton Surge layered on top. It's a quicksand trap for them and locks him in place. Ding finding Tech 36 after he was D-Mech. HSL Esports dropping back to the point after finding one, but they lose Fisher in the process. Goes down with the rally again.
This is really not good for them. They do have the shatter, but no bash there means it's a lot of it's down to Ascot to get a big boot here.
Shatter being dropped, it finds free. It's still good from HSL Esports. So you are going to be able to keep this payload in motion. It's Henningsen again coming in the most unlikely of situations.
Super clutch with these shatters so far. Really unfortunate for Tech 36 on the previous fight as well. When they got grabbed, his mech basically got caught behind the wall, which meant he was LOS'd away from the Transcendence, means he wasn't receiving any of that 300 HPS. And they're able to just burst him down, so great job from HSL to identify that in the moment.
Won't get the free real estate cap. The shatter on the back line, it's good. It
big
extends all the way. His influence is strong as the Graviton Surge will pull them into the center of the Singularity. And there's more kills coming in for HSL Esports. Morningstars trying to commit and stop them from getting that checkpoint B capture. It was not to be. Final section, and they're going to have themselves just about 2.5 minutes to make it work.
So far, Henningsen coming alive towards the end of this map here. Shatters have been great. The shield have been great. Does Chubbs die? No, he just gets away, but it does feed a lot of ultimate charge over to Zapray here, and they need it if they want to finish quickly. Morningstars, 4 ultimates. Here, I think what's happened with Morningstars is they've become a lot better at controlling their ult economy. I'm seeing less and less of these over-investments that we saw early in the series.
Self-destruct is just going to be a little chip by Tech 36. Won't find anyone else. The rally now coming in for Morningstars is Asking will have a grab to use, and he drops it right on the payload. Henningsen's already been deleted. This Transcendence coming out too late as Chubbs will get the burst damage to find Fisher throughout all that 300 HPS healing. And now Morningstar's pressing HSL Esports back. We'll have a Transcendence and a Shatter to play with, but it's that grab and the Shatter from Henningsen that could spell disaster for them.
I just compliment the ult economy for Morningstars, and then they use 3 ultimates just for a Transcendence. That seems a bit overkill to me.
Not fiscally responsible.
No, not at all. They need to see an accountant and quick, sharp. HSL Esports coming in the next one. They've got the rally, they got the shatter. Haven't quite been able to pull off that combo as of yet, but Zapray have been really successful with his Gravitons, other than the times when Tech 36 eats them, of course, but when they do go through, they are very effective.
Chubbs, big fire strike to get himself that shatter before the fight even begins. They're going to play around the terrain and the stairs. Going to emerge through with the rally. That's big to lead the charge into the fight. That extra armor is going to really tip the scales in favor of HSL Esports. Graviton Surge and the Transcendence. Henningsen wants that 75 damage cleave, but he's knocked back away from the engagement. Will be denied a lot of that one. Shatter to the ground.
Big block.
Only going to find 2. On 1. There's only Fisher getting affected. The stun came on the Chow instead. Shatters for the payload. Henningsen finds 3. And they're going to wave through Morningstars and push this onto the final corner. Asking will go back on the Henningsen, but too many members of Morningstars have gone down.
It's actually a really big pick early on as well, because Henningsen's got a long walk here to point C, and without the shield, you're not able to deny a lot of the damage that's coming out from Slur, that's coming out from Askin, that's coming out from Tech 36. So HSL Esports can be relying on both these defensive ultimates they've been able to accrue here. Morningstars, they've only got the 1. HSL do the smart thing, they back up for the time being.
They're allowing time for Henningsen to get in, aggressively beat. Maybe going in for the fight. Henningsen's going down low, will be kept up by the sound barrier. Tridd caught off guard! And he's cancelled out of his own sound barrier. He won't give it to Morningstar. They have no support. The bomb had to be big and it wasn't there. Chubbs dropping his hammer down, but won't find enough as they're forced into a corner. Shao picking up 2. Dredro coming out of the spawn room, trying to find something, playing around the pillar. Actually, the stall from Tech was the one to do it. Henningsen, he was just past that one like a pitcher into the hammer. Bat away, and it's a home run for HSL Esports.
6-pointer for Henningsen, and absolutely. That's on tag too, because he keeps finding these 6-man shatters all over the place.
To be fair, I think you had the more appropriate reference. You went for cricket. I went for something very American in the form of baseball. So I'll give that one over to you.
I am British, mate. I'm through and through.
So am I, which is really the most disappointing thing about that.
I think you're more British than I am, though, to be fair.
I mean, like, the North is kind of like the wildlings.
Exactly.
From Game of Thrones,
yeah.
so I guess.
Am I really British then? At the end of the day.
More mysteries coming about. HSL Esports, they finished with 1 second on the clock, so we'll give them the 101 coming in there.
The mystery is, does the 1 second?
No, Blank, we keep having this discussion over multiple weeks. Do these finite time banks matter? And for the most part, they don't. Maybe that 1 second does make the difference. Maybe it's this time it's successful.
You never know.
We don't really know about that one. But it's been fantastic play. I actually think that if we were to do MVP awards here on this particular show, Henningsen would definitely be up there for HSL Esports today.
Boy, yeah, I think the votes would be coming in for him thick and fast too. I think Ding is just a very reliable backliner, and I think that he provides a lot more value than we can really see in this moment as the game goes through. I'm sure if we went through VOD review, he'd look incredible. But
that's the bane of being a support, though, right?
It is, yeah. But Henningsen, he looks pretty cool. He's the big man on campus, and he makes some flashy plays.
Yeah, more kills on his hammer than Chernobog, which you have to be very insightful about mythology to get that one.
You really do. Yeah, absolutely. But let's bring it back to the game here. And I think that if we look at this from the moment, I think Morningstars, they've been playing way better, right, than they have been previously in this series. I think much of that is to do with Tech 36. I think he's getting a little bit more confidence back, and he's not playing the Sombra.
Yeah, he's not playing the Sombra. He's onto a more comfortable hero in the form of a Diva, and he has got to that stage in the game where, yeah, he has got the download. He knows what's going to happen.
He knows, brother.
He's getting the consumptions in. Like, he kind of had it during Paris with the Blizzard consumptions, but now it's just pure grab eating. That grabs back on the menu, boys.
Yeah, it is. And I think that the way we've got to look at it is that the Blizzard's kind of an easier ultimate to eat, but he was just he was ramping it up, Like I said earlier, it's the entree, and then we get into the main course, which is the Gravitons. So, yeah, it's all in all, I think the Tech 36 is playing really well on Samsung Morningstars. I still think the bubbles are a little bit of an issue from asking so far.
Yeah, they're coming in a little bit too early, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that what we need to see is more like I think you can put more confidence in Fisher to drop out the put more confidence in Kagasi to throw out the whip shot, more confidence in Dredro to hit those boops, rather than investing such an important cooldown so early on, which is on quite a long cooldown, let's be honest. Like 8 seconds might not seem too much, but in game that's a very, very long time when it comes to a fight that potentially ends in 5.
That's a Doha EMP right there.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Also, I kind of wish it was going to be 8 seconds for this, but unfortunately it's not. We're going to go to a quick break while these technical issues are resolved. Only a minute this time, keeping the action going as they're jumping back onto Rialto. As the flip side, HSL Esports going to be on the defense by virtue of that 1 second difference.
Big difference, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you.
This is the one.
It's the one, dude. To be fair, it does mean that HSL Esports can set precedent, right? They can set where the marker is, where Morningstars have to.
Is that easier or harder, though? That's something that always comes into mind. I'm going to have to ask the players, maybe take a straw poll or something?
I think that is something that you have to ask the players. I would say that it is actually easier to defend first, because if you get a really good defense, you can hold on. You make your attack far easier, right? But if you're attacking first, then you can be held a lot earlier, and it makes your defense much harder.
Kagasi taking a sneaky peek on the Widowmaker, but will change back to the Brigida to jump into this one. Still sticking with the GOAT. So our prediction of snipers, or what's enabled by this map, not coming through as strong as we thought it was, because they've just played GOATs the entire time.
They really have. And to be fair, it's not really been too bad for them. I think the main thing is still that ult economy for Morningstars. HSL, on the other hand, they are still running this Ana. Try and take advantage of that high ground, but immediately Morningstars once again do the correct thing and take it away from them. I think that Ding has hit some massive anti-nades, but he needs to start hitting them and have the team follow up afterwards.
Still sitting on that cooldown for now. Needs to find a good window to throw it out. Goes for the
Big
sleep.
sleep.
Now's the time
my
to do
God.
it. He throws into the backline as well. It hits Chubbs, but he's going to be healed up on the back of that one. Zapray will find him still, so HSL Esports should walk away with his first engagement. And really, that might be all you're going to get this time.
Ding is actually disgusting. This guy hits the sleep dart, knows there's no matrix, can just toss out the anti-nade afterwards. Drijo touches it.
Yeah, thankfully Drijo's there on the back line, so he will trigger the overtime. And now it's a bit of a rush of a Red Rover to get in. Tech36 gets the bubble to stall. And then the armor pack as well. They keep him alive. Fantastic layering of abilities to keep him up there. We'll still lose the mech to Henningsen.
Grab, no matrix.
Shatter straight down on the ground. The grab, the deal breaker for Zapray. They're going to stop it on the corner. That's not far to get, but that is where we see a lot of time burn, regardless of who the opponent is.
On this corner here, because it's so hard to get your Lucio into position to get a boot back onto the Reinhardt, or the defending Reinhardt into your team so you can capitalize on it. So a lot of basically the narrative is defined by the defending team and how the attacking team is able to break that defense itself. So HSL, now they're on attack. They don't have far to go, but again, it's really only one fight that they have. 2 fights if they lose the first one quick, and even so, then you're basically pushing Morningstars into the danger zone of having ultimates before you. And as we know, ultimates in a free matchup really are the deal breaker, like you just said there, Tridd. HSL, they're running the traditional. Morningstars, they're going to whack Slur on the Ana.
The classic coming out there. And
Classico, yeah.
Dings, Ana. We already stated it in the moment. Actually huge there. Woo, the big sleep onto Tech just meant that Chubbs was fair game.
It was so saucy. Actually unbelievably so. But Morningstars now, they've got a tall task ahead of them. I think it's definitely doable, and they can tie it up right now, but you've got to remember that this is 2-1. They lose this, they finish. The psychological pressure has got to be massive here, especially in the official.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the aggressive spawn gate hold on this one. Some teams attempt to go, and it would have mixed it up a little bit. Instead, they're going to wait. They're going to have a third-person peek by Kagasi. Just keeping an eye on Askov, maybe spotted out here by it. He strays around the corner, trying to contest, and Drijo comes in with the assist, knocks him back off the high ground. And they are playing very close to the payload, trying to burn through and guarantee that there will only be one engagement on the point A offense. Oh no, Henningsen's got down! Kagasi found him nice and early. Spawn room's right there. They can't lose any more on this one. Kagasi again! Askov whipped out of it as well, and now Morningstars entrenched themselves in front of the payload.
Oh, stop whipping them, mate. They need less of that. And look at that, Kagasi already at 51%. He's going to have that rally far before Fisher, so that advantage is going to be huge coming to the next one.
1 second won't make the difference, because it's all going to be done in overtime now, Blank.
15 seconds remaining here. It has to be good. They've still got 2 corners to push this round. Morningstars looking in a great position. Nana Boost is very close to being online too.
Chow going onto the back line, wants to shut down Slur. He's paying him attention with the micro missiles, but he backed off. He's going to get that Nana Boost online. There's no doubt about it. He has to be assassinated now. With 3% remaining, he can just pump the juice. into Chubbs, and he can let the hammer swing smartly. They're not taking any chances. They fall back to the passive cover for the last fight.
Henningson's asleep right now, 91% on Chubbs, but he does not wake up just yet. Ding is desperately trying to get his Transcendence online, knowing that he absolutely does need it.
He's got it in his pocket. He's got it in his pocket, and he's ready to go. If everything goes wrong, Hail Mary sleep coming in. Won't find anyone on HSL Esports. They're playing this one slow. They want the ultimates in their pocket. As long as they stay on the payload, it's going to be fine, because HSL Esports, they still need to accrue them, Blank. They got nothing apart from the Transcendence, and that's an emergency. But it's a big nade. There's nothing you can do about it. Chubbs commits the shatter. He finds 2 on the back line. Will go in with the rally as well. There's the counter grab. Chow gets the big E. Shuts it all down, and now they're going to have to do it dry, as Chubbs is Transcendence. He's not going to be there, sorry. His Nano Boost wasted. Kagasi shattered. The big anti-nade comes in, but the barrier's there to compensate. Henningson stays up. Askin gets the big slap to the back of the head. Tech's the last remaining straggler. HSL Esports gonna walk it in and take the series 3-1.
Sure, Tech 36 gets the entree, he gets the dinner, but Chow swoops in, he eats the dessert, and he's gone, mate. That is it, all over. HSL clean swoop, 3-1 Morning Stars. They had such a good chance, but it was like I was saying there in that last moment. Why are you playing that so slow? You have the ult advantage. You know you have the ult advantage. All you're doing by playing slow there is allowing HSL to get ultimates online.
It just took a big offensive ultimate to come in, and they just went for it. And then while that's going on, because there's fights going on, it just accelerates their ult generation. They just needed the one big push. And as soon as they got it, HSL committed to the fight and just ran away with it.
They really did. There was nothing left after that one. The gas had been burnt, and it was just like they keep just throwing all the ink on the page, but the ink is the ultimate, and the page is the game. There's nothing that Morning Stars can do after they drop that one. It feels like when they have a good fight, they have a good fight, right?
Yeah.
But when a fight just starts to go a little bit poorly, like one thing might go wrong, that's when the communications just seem to shut down a little bit.
They have it. It's going to be HSL Esports, a team that's surprising a lot of people this season. A team that's...
I guess they're definitely the dark horse for me.
Yeah, they are. I think that's a good label to attach them at this point. You don't look at this roster naturally and go, this is like
mental
big boy team in Contenders. But like, some of the names on here, they have heritage. The likes of, Chow's been around, Ding's great comeback to Overwatch Contenders, and Fisher coming back from NA as well.
Some really good
storylines as well. There's loads of talent jammed into this roster, and typically when you have like a superstar team full of all those individual pieces, the part where they lack is bringing it all together. And I don't think HSL are necessarily lacking. I don't think they're necessarily excelling at the teamwork yet, but they're not. It's not working to their detriment, right?
No, and I think that the main thing for me, for HSL, is that we see a lot of these other teams and we define them by a player or a play style, but for HSL it's very hard to basically pin one player as their star, because Henningson shows up sometimes, Zapre shows up sometimes, Fisher's Hanzo, Ding's Zenyatta, Chow's Diva at the moment. It's crazy that all these players have amazing attributes, but there's one player that we didn't talk about enough, I don't think, was Ascot. And from last season, he played this really defensive Lucio, right? And that defensive Lucio was a reason why a lot of people were like, well, this guy maybe not that good, because at that moment, the speed boost was still intact. It was still very, very like throw yourself.
Now it's just limping along slowly.
It is like it just gives you a little bit of a wheel on the leg, but nothing much more than that. But now he plays a lot more defensive. He has that play style, and he speeds into heals. His boops are really, really strong, and he's just making sure to protect the key members on the team. And I think he's a player that I don't think I highlighted enough in that series, but I think he's one player to keep watching out for at home.
Ascot stock going up. Buy. And it's a buy from us as well. That's the end of the series, so that's typically how this works. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you our second series of the night.